Make me beautiful. If I had a nickel for every single time someone has sat in my chair during the last 20 years I've worked as a makeup artist and said these exact 3 words, I would be bankrolling films instead of working on them. And as it turns out, being featured on a magazine cover boasting world's most beautiful woman or sexiest man alive never made any of the A-list stars in my makeup trailer feel like they were immune to the effects of one of the most prevalent disorders in our society today, beauty dysphoria. Beauty dysphoria, the inability to acknowledge and affirm our own beauty, is precipitating and contributing to an unprecedented surge in mental, emotional, and physical dysfunction that is crippling the world's most valuable resource, us. The 24/7 onslaught of hyper-edited, digitally modified, impossibly unattainable representations of beauty that we are intravenously fed through social media and Hollywood, not to mention the endless apps and filters on our own dang phones, are reprogramming our individual beliefs about our beauty and our worth and our worthiness. By ascribing to a beauty standard rooted in altered pixels and governed by ever-changing algorithms, we've unwittingly created a zero-sum game for ourselves, where the deepening quicksand of comparison paints us into an ever-shrinking box of self-judgment, self-doubt, self-rejection, and even self-loathing. The more we look through the lens of technology to try and find our beauty, the less we're able to see it. And the more we lose sight of our beauty and our worth, the less we're able to play the role we were born to play. The beauty industry is a $532 billion business, full of plenty of sparkle and shine, but it's also systematically, even if unintentionally, bankrupting the human capital of up to 29% of the world's population. Humans are fascinating creatures. Each of us are born with remarkable gifts uniquely suited to facing and solving the formidable challenges of our day, but we will never outperform our own self-image. And if that self-image is infiltrated and undermined by the beauty dysmorphia that so many of us grapple with, those critical resources of gifts and talents and abilities go untapped. A poll in recent years revealed that 6 out of 10 10-year-old girls stopped doing what they loved because they felt bad about the way they looked. Now think about the long-term implications of that for a moment. We are led to our callings by our interests. They're the signposts that point the way to our unique mission in this world. Our passions and our purpose are inextricably linked. The young girl who can't wait every year to enter the science fair grows up to be a researcher who develops a groundbreaking treatment or even cure for cancer. The 5th grader who wants to run for her elementary school president grows up to be a politician instrumental in brokering a peace deal between 2 war-ravaged countries. That is, unless these young girls discount their abilities because they doubt their beauty and give up on their passions because they already gave up on their worth. We face tremendous challenges in the world right now, and we cannot afford as a society to show up to the fight without our best minds, our biggest hearts, and our most capable hands on deck. We need each and every person to bring to the table the beautiful, powerful gifts they brought to this earth. But all too frequently, those gifts are becoming casualties to the anxiety and depression and even suicide that often result from believing that we are not beautiful, that we are not worthy, and that we are not enough. There have been seminal moments in the course of our history where the repercussions of our broken beliefs about the worth of humans have reached a critical mass. And in those crucial moments, that would define our story or direct our future, we have chosen collectively to adopt a new paradigm or return to a true one. And we can do the same thing now with our broken beliefs about beauty. Actually, we must. Invariably, when somebody finds out what I do for a living, they immediately ask what are my favorite beauty products and plead with me to tell them all of my beauty secrets. Now y'all, I've been doing this so long that with one eye closed and half my brain tied behind my back, I can tell you how to choose the perfect foundation for your skin, how to pick the perfect colors that'll make your eyes pop, and how to know exactly what makeup brush to use for any application. But all of the tools and techniques I can share with you won't keep you from white-knuckling for your worth as soon as the beauty algorithms of pop culture change again, and they always do. The beauty secrets that really matter, that hardwire you to your worth, are not found in a bottle. They are your birthright. And they don't wash off your face, but sink deep down into the center of your soul. It's ironic that even though I've worked in the beauty industry for over 2 decades, it took me half my life to learn these true beauty secrets the hard way. As a 14-year-old girl with cystic acne and yet to grow into my above average height, I was viciously made fun of for being ugly. And kids don't do you the favor of waiting until they're behind your back to throw the words that cut like knives. I can still feel the sting of tears on my face as the cutest boy in our junior high refused quite loudly to drink at the water fountain after me, afraid that he would catch my ugly cooties. Battling various eating disorders well into adulthood, I spent half my life hating my body and my appearance and believing that the broken woman who hid underneath the mask of her perfect makeup had no worth beyond the painted facade she presented to the world, leading eventually to self-harm, depression, even suicidal ideation as the house of cards I had built on someone else's definition of my beauty and my worth came crashing down around me. Sometimes the most complicated questions we face have the simplest answers if we just know where to look. I like to say that my life is equal parts dirt and glitter because after 43 years of living in the big city urban scene, I traded half of my stilettos for cowboy boots and started over on a small urban farm. Now I still work in what many consider to be the glamorous world of film and television, but every day I come home from set and trade my fancy makeup brushes for my rusty pitchfork and my new eyeshadow palettes for my old planting trowel. Perhaps it is poetic then that the answers I was looking for, the answers that so many of us are looking for, were already written in the skies around me and rooted in the ground beneath me. No longer looking to the digital landscape for answers, but taking our cues from the ageless truths that are found in the wild of nature, we can create a new framework of beauty beliefs that is inclusive rather than exclusive, empowering rather than enslaving, and that instead of eroding the human spirit, validates it. There are hints and clues of these truths under every leaf and behind every rock and hanging on every breeze if we can quiet ourselves enough to look for them and still our hearts and our minds enough to see them. Sometimes they appear small, almost insignificant, kind of like a seed. But like a seed, they contain within them the blueprint for unlimited nourishment and growth, and yes, even beauty. There are 3 simple seeds of truth found in the wild of nature that when planted in our soul, grant us the power to debunk beauty dysmorphia, dismantle its lies about what exactly it means to be beautiful, and help us return to a more organic construct of beauty that both affirms every person of their worth and empowers them to use their unique gifts to create the social, scientific, and spiritual solutions that are needed to heal our world. As we shift our attention back to the definition of beauty, instead of being constantly distracted and derailed by society's ever-changing interpretation of it, we find that those seeds of truth are already staring back at us like our own reflection. The dictionary defines beauty as a combination of qualities such as form, color, shape that please the aesthetic senses, or a quality or aggregate of qualities in a person or thing that pleases the senses or pleasurably exalts the mind or spirit. From this original definition, we can excavate these 3 seeds of truth that debunk beauty dysphoria once and for all and return us to the rightful sovereigns of our own worth and worthiness. Seed number 1, there is no definitive predetermined set of criteria to qualify for beauty. The definition says a combination of qualities, not this combination of qualities or that combination of qualities. Society throughout history has changed its mind almost like clockwork about specific combinations of qualities that it deems necessary to represent beauty. But beauty, by its very definition, defies closed-loop categorization. Consider the endless varieties of flowers that adorn the earth, staggering in number and awe. Beauty is, by its very essence, endlessly inclusive. Beauty comes in all shapes, colors, sizes, and ages, especially yours. Seed number 2. The quality or aggregate of qualities in a person that give pleasure to the senses or pleasurably exalt the mind and spirit are inherent and eternal. No one else has the power, authority, or ability to assign beauty to you or to take it away. Beauty is not in the eye of the beholder. It is in you. You don't have to buy, borrow, or hustle for it. You don't have to reach a threshold of likes, followers, or shares to be verified as beautiful. A blackberry bush does not need the approval or permission of anyone to bloom, and its ability to bring forth fruit is already encoded in its DNA. So it is with you. Your beauty is intrinsic. Always has been, always will be, period. Seed number 3. Beauty pertains not merely to appearance or physical attributes. The second half of the definition emphatically declares the qualities that exalt the mind and spirit to be of equal criteria. There are trees that boast no showy blossoms in the spring, and yet their simple leaves recycle the air breathed by practically every living thing on the planet. Their beauty surely can't be called into question simply because it just doesn't serve the same purpose as the flowers or fruiting vines. If the way we live, not merely the way we look, but if the way we live lifts the mind and spirit of just one person or breathes life into the world, we are indeed beautiful. Some may ask, can debunking beauty dysphoria really be this simple when the fallout of such ugly beliefs about our worth and our worthiness are often so very, very complicated? Occam's razor theorizes that the most simple solution is often the correct one, but my own lived experience of debunking beauty dysphoria goes far beyond theory into powerful practice with predictable and replicable results. Debunking beauty dysmorphia in a meaningful way that goes beyond campy memes and trite platitudes not only affords us the opportunity to experience radical healing in ourselves, it empowers us to show up in the world with the full force of our gifts and talents that it so desperately needs, and to honor the divine source of those gifts by sharing them. It allows us, maybe for the first time in our lives, to feel truly beautiful, inherently worthy, and absolutely enough. Sometimes the only viable way to move forward is indeed to go back to the beginning, returning to the wild, the place where we will discover at last that beauty is not something we have to buy, bottle, edit, or filter, but is something that we've had inside us all along. And then when we use it to save ourselves, we are doing our own not so small part to save the entire world.